Okay, everybody, what's going on? Good evening. Hope you guys are doing well. Got a little bit of football news to talk about tonight. A couple of items, both of which have some relation to the Seattle Seahawks, although it remains to be seen exactly how much. But this is worth talking about because I do think a lot of Seahawks fans heard this today and their ears perked up a little bit. I think they got a little bit excited for this one because this is potentially fairly significant. And I imagine not only are Seahawks fans excited about this possibility opening up, I imagine the franchise is going to be participating in conversations here around Jonathan Greenard. And I found out today that is apparently how you pronounce his last name. I've been saying Jonathan Greenard for a long time. Apparently, it's Greenard. I got that from Pro Football Reference, so if somebody put this up as a prank, then I apologize, but I think that's how you pronounce it, I guess. Not spelled like that at all, but I guess we can go with it. But anyway, per Adam Schefter, pretty much the top dog when it comes to NFL reporting and rumors, the Vikings are open to trading edge rusher Jonathan Greenard. Per sources, they would like to keep him, but they have salary cap issues they're working through that have led to these trade conversations. If you'll recall, last offseason, the Vikings kind of went all in. It didn't work out. They picked the wrong guys, and now they may have to pay for it, and paying for it might mean losing one of their better players. And Jonathan Greenard is one of the best players on the Vikings, and it would be a big loss, but things like this do happen in the NFL when you get up against the salary cap. So this is not going to be a release situation, I don't think. I think he's too good to be released, and he's also on a pretty big contract. So I don't see that happening. I did read one thing that said the Vikings are looking for a day two pick back for Grunard. So if you're Seattle, that means 64th overall or 96th overall. And you're probably talking about 64th overall because 96th overall is barely a day two pick. So that's the start of the conversation, right? Jonathan Grunard for a second round pick, 64th overall. Is that something this team should be kicking the tires on? So, first, Jonathan Grunard, let's take a look at him, what he is as a player. He's about to turn 29, so he's not cripplingly old yet. He had two really good years in a row from 23 to 24. Final year in Houston, he was playing alongside Will Anderson. That was his rookie year. And 12 and a half sacks, big breakout year for him. The next year, he went to Minnesota and had 12 sacks and made the Pro Bowl and actually got some Defensive Player of the Year votes, one of the better defenders in the league. So across that 2-year span, super productive, really good player. And you can see why he was heavily coveted and why he would still be heavily coveted now. Unfortunately, 2025 didn't treat him very well. He missed 5 games. He only started 10 games total, and he only had 3 sacks. And that isn't to say that he was a bad player, but his circumstances were a lot worse. And he couldn't stay healthy. He battled through injury for a good chunk of the season, and his ability to play diminished significantly. If you go down to the advanced numbers here, you'll see that he still got a decent number of pressures. 24, he just wasn't converting those pressures into sacks, and that's what happens when you have lingering injury issues, right? Like you go back to 2021, he had way more sacks on fewer pressures, and that's probably a big part of the reason why. And another way to look at it is it's kind of fluky. Normally, when you get 24 pressures, you'd be talking about, for a guy like this, somewhere around 8 to 10 sacks. So getting 3 feels like it's a little bit of a statistical anomaly that you would not expect to happen again. But this is a very good player, and he's only going to be 29, so he should still have at least 2 more good years left, especially because he's not got insane mileage on him. Now, he does have a little bit of a red flag in his ledger as it pertains to injuries, as you can see. Last year, he missed 5 games. 3 years ago, he missed 2 games. 2022, he missed half the season. 2021, he still missed 5 games, even though that was kind of his breakout year. So this guy's had issues staying on the field, but when he's on the field, he is very, very good. So beyond just the stats, the box score, Pro Football Focus likes him a lot. Even last year, they graded him very well. 74.2 the year before, much higher, 80.8. For last year in Houston, he was a 78.2. So he is a very good player, however you want to slice it. The advanced analytics indicate it. The raw box score stats indicate it. He is capable of being one of the best edges in football. Not necessarily a guy I would ever expect to average like a sack a game like some of the true monsters in this league, but good all-around player and somebody that is worth probably giving up the 64th overall pick for. And like I said, I think that is what it's going to take. Now, there is another element at play here, and Albert Breer talks about this in this tweet right here. Jonathan Greenard is seeking a market correction to his contract. He's due $19 million and would like a raise. Minnesota doesn't really want to give him the raise. So that is part of the reason why this is happening. You can go to his Spotrac page and see. I don't know exactly where Breer gets the $19 million number from, but you can see the cap hit in 2026 is going to be 22.2 basically. If you trade him, the Vikings presumably eat the signing bonus, and you would inherit the base and possibly the roster bonus as well. So you'd still be paying a vast majority of it. You'd still be paying close to $20 million each of the next 2 years, but it's a good price for a player who's this good. The only thing that could make you think that he's not worth some kind of raise would be the injuries. As a player, he's definitely worth more than what he's getting from the Vikings right now. But be aware, if you trade for him, you're going to have to probably give him a raise, or he's not going to be happy. So something to think about. So if you trade for Greenard and then he wants some new contract that is going to give him the equivalent of like $30 million a year, on the field, he's worth it. But do you want to do that for a guy who is not Myles Garrett, who is not Max Crosby? He's not as good as those guys. So are you willing to pay him close to them? Even if it's less? And it probably will be less than those guys. But are you willing to climb the ladder like that for a guy like Jonathan Greenard, who is very good, but he's not Max Crosby? He's not the best of the best. Or could you convince him to just stick on his current contract, play it out, and try to earn a raise through his play in 2026? Because you can go to him and feasibly say, hey, look, you had 3 sacks last year. You missed 5 games. What are you talking about getting a raise? So some things to think about here. The contract's already pretty hefty, but this guy would immediately be our best edge rusher. He'd be the centerpiece of our pass rush, centerpiece of our edge room. And there's something here. If the team cannot get Crosby, and maybe they know they're not going to be able to get somebody like a Khalil Mack, or maybe they don't want a Khalil Mack because of the age, Jonathan Greenard, or Grunard, it's going to take me a while to not say Greenard because that's what it looks like. But Jonathan Greenard, it's kind of your plan B. And it's a pretty good plan B, but it is fraught with some real danger here. All right, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time on that, walk through all the different scenarios with Grunard here. Very, very intriguing guy to trade for. 2nd round pick. Maybe you could get the Vikings to throw in like a 5th round pick back as well. One other thing that I want to quickly mention here. I know this isn't necessarily a big thing for the Seahawks at this point, but we did get confirmation today that the Cardinals are going to be releasing Kyler Murray on Wednesday next week, unless they can trade him. And I don't think they're going to be able to trade him. So apparently they can get out of some of the money they owe him if they let him go before March 15th. So if they let him go right when the league year rolls over, which is their plan, then they owe him still $37 million, but they can save almost $20 million. So knowing that, it's something of a no-brainer. And look, I know we all knew this was coming. We all knew Kyler was going to get released. It was no doubt about it. And by the way, I know it's not official yet, but everybody knows it's going to happen. Kyler even tweeted about it. Kyler posted this tweet earlier today where he basically acknowledges the fact that he is out of there. And as a Seahawks fan, I mean, he's not a terrible quarterback. And I will say the Cardinals don't have any great options to replace him, right? Like, there's not going to be anybody in the draft worthy of their pick by the time they pick because Mendoza's off the board. You can't tell me Simpson is worth a pick that high. And it's not a good quarterback class in general, so they're not going to be able to draft a guy. Daniel Jones has been tagged, so it's not going to be easy to sign him, and I don't know if that's a good idea anyway, and what else is there to do? Like what are we talking about here? Are you going to get Jameis Winston? Are you going to get Russell Wilson? There's really not much Arizona can do, but at the same time, he's not particularly good, and there is a reason why the Cardinals are doing this because it's not working. And this is a guy we always beat. So, in a way, I guess he will be missed. And I don't think we necessarily beat him because he always played terrible against us, but I'm hard pressed to say that he's particularly blameless in the fact that the Seahawks have kind of had his number. Geno beat him every time. I think he was 6-0 against the Cardinals. Now, Kyler didn't start all those games, I don't think, but point is, he never beat Geno, didn't beat Darnold. And he did get Russ in Russ's last year in Seattle, but for the most part, Seattle handled him then too. So in a way, I guess he will be missed because we usually beat him. But I don't know if Arizona can do much to replace him. Eventually they will, but this is not a good offseason to be looking for a new franchise quarterback. All right, so that'll do it. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. And everyone have a good rest of your day. Might stream later, might not. I've been busy with the draft stuff, so it's hard for me to get streaming time in. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of the Jonathan Greenard stuff because that's a complicated ball of yarn to unravel.